Zion and Jerusalem will escape, just as the Lord has said. These will be among the survivors whom the Lord has called.
Happy day, beautiful people. Happy Monday. All right, beautiful people. Happy Monday. It is June 7, 2021, day 174 of year 3 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, also known as the Old Testament, which is a misnomer. It shouldn't be called the Old Testament because it's still completely active today, aside from all the 11 that's been added, just like all 11 that's been added and new. It is day 843 that is without the Sabbath days, or the feast day Sabbath days added into the count, because we're resting on those days as Yahuwah has commanded us to. All right, y'all. So today we're reading Fourth Ezra. I'm going to check the chapters. I forget. I think it's 16, 8, 9, and 10. 10. Okay, let me just double check and see how many here. Okay, yeah, it's 16 chapters altogether. So we're 8, 9, and 10 today. Then we're going to pick up where we left off at yesterday. And Fossilized Customs on page 132. Yep, Mithras slain the bull. All right, y'all. So let's do the Shema. Josiah, shalom, shalom, Auntie. Belinda Brown, Trina Hager, hey, that's why boo. All right, y'all, pull this up. And top of the day to all the ones who are in the background. I know it's a lot of people that watch it throughout the day, and some people that are here that actually, like, if you're on Facebook watching, but if you're not watching from a phone, it doesn't show up. But if they're like watching from computer, people are there. So it's weird how they track that. Okay, so the Shema is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6. So let's start at verse 3 here. Therefore, O Yasharah, or Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahuwah, the Elohim of our fathers, has promised us, in the land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah, our mighty one, he is one, not multiple, not trinity, not duality. He is one and one alone. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah our mighty one, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuwah, our mighty one, as he has commanded us. Morning, Uncle JB. Nikki, hey, girl, hey. All right, y'all. So let's pull this back up. I saw a question first thing this morning. Let's see. Pull it back up. Josiah said, Shalom, family. I have a question. Who are the 144,000 mentioned in Scripture? Without making this a long That's like one of the YouTube favorites. And I've seen a lot of videos on this. Oh, buddy. I'm simply put, without going into all the details, here's what Yahuwah said to me. Now, before, let me tell you, I heard him say this to me. I had been researching 144,000, like when he first started opening my eyes, because of course all these questions started coming up. Okay, well, what about this? And what about that? What about this in the New Testament? All these questions I was having. So I did all the research that I could find. I watched all the videos that I could find about the 144,000. I was like, okay, so you got people, okay, the 144,000, they're all men. Some people's like, it's a mix of men and women. Then they go into all these other kind of details as children. I'm like, children? I'm like, okay, I could see their logic in when they said that, but you just got a whole bunch of stuff. But simply put, here's what Yahuwah said to me after a few months of me doing all this research and researching the hashtags, 144,000, all this stuff, right? So after I finished doing all that, and at that point when I had exhausted all the resources for the 144,000, because clearly I was trying to find it in the Old Testament. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, unless they've changed the term or something, I'm not quite sure what this is, right? And then I want to say, after I had really stopped, not that I stopped thinking about it, but I stopped actively researching it, is when I heard the voice of Yahuwah months later about it, right? I wasn't even thinking about the 144 anymore. I still remember it. I woke up, I was in that between that half sleep, half woke state where I was transitioning out of the dream world into the physical world. And I heard just as clear as day, it said, I heard the 144,000 are judges, right? And so I'm like, okay. Wrote it down in my dream manual, and I just kind of left it at that for a moment, but I kept thinking about it. But the more I kept thinking about it, as the days went on, I started thinking about some of my other dreams I had, right? And so you know how, okay, so in Revelation, you'll see it. Okay, so I had this dream about, I'm trying to make sure I think about this dream, because it's like some personal details in this dream. Okay, so without telling you that particular dream, because it just didn't include me in that dream, and I was kind of like observing the scene going on or whatever. Like the robes, like in the New Testament and Revelation, where they're handed robes, I probably should have just waited to answer your question so I could actually pull it up. But here's what I'm gonna do. Let me make myself a note. I'm gonna have to pull up some of this stuff and I'll show you. But it kind of links to some stuff where you can see it being pulled from some places. But just to make a long story short, based on what I know up until this day, and what I heard Yahuwah say, the 144,000 are judges. And I don't believe it's just men. Right? I believe it's a mix of men and women, right? If that makes sense. Based on some of the teachings that kind of run rampant in the church about that, at least from what I've pulled up. But also when it talks about robes, so that's the whole point with sharing that dream, was the thing about the robes. A lot of people, like when you read it sometime, like at least in my understanding and thinking, when I used to read it, when I read about, they would be given robes and stuff, it based on what I understood a robe to be, I'm thinking like the choir robes in church and stuff, right? So every time I would read robes, that's like, because I knew it wasn't bath robes, like the robes that you wear in your house. So that's the only thing that I was likening it to. But I was completely missing all the scriptures that, as after I heard that, I began to search into a little bit more, where Yahuwah says that his people, they will rule with him, right? And so that they kind of like liken it. I ain't gonna say it's a play on words. I gotta kind of pull it together a little bit because I don't want to confuse anybody on it, based on what I understand. But the robes represent judges, right? Those who will rule and reign with the most holy. Even like I go back to the book of Daniel as well, when it talks about judgment taking its seat, because judges where, like, if you look in our court system or whatever, that's kind of easy analogy. Judges, all of the judges, when they take their seat, when judgment sits, they're clothed in robes, right? They're clothed in robes and they render judgment. And if they're good judges, right? If they're keeping to the laws, let's say if they're keeping to the laws that Yahuwah have set out for ruling nations and regions and areas, you're going to rule righteously. So anytime now, when I see judges in my dreams, and they're always wearing robes, which means they are in positions of authority somewhere, but they're of the ruling class, you know. So the 144,000, they are of the ruling class. They will be handing out judgments. But also, as I was learning about this, Yahuwah also taught me about judges, that judges don't necessarily, let me just say it this way. Judges can judge with their mouths. They can literally render judgments just like clearly, because in a natural, when a judge renders judgment, a judge has to speak it in order for the people to hear it and know what sentence is being passed down, right? And so Yahuwah said they only need to speak. Like, they can literally, wherever they're at across the world, if you have been set aside by Yahuwah as a judge, wherever you are, wherever you've been scattered to the four corners of the earth, as long as you are in your rightful place, in your rightful position as a judge, you can see what's happening in the world, and you yourself can begin to render judgment from where you stand, and kind of like speak it and lodge it into the spirit realm, so to speak, and you can begin to see it happen. But there's some people you can't just speak willy-nilly. There's like some things that go with judges and what they have to do. Like, judges have to literally live set apart lives, right? Because you can't give judgment. You can't think about our court system and judges, right? You can't be biased. You can't hand out biased judgments. You know, you have to look at all the information and consider everything, right? Consider it from every perspective. You can't hear one side of the story and go with that. And I like you, so you can't show bias to either party or what's going on. You have to be able to see, despite all the arguments that are presented, you have to be able to look at what the truth is. You have to be able and be skilled enough to be able to pull out the truth from what is being presented from all parties and all the evidence, and weigh it against what the law of Yahuwah says. Where does this fit in? So as my understanding today, that's who the 144,000 are. They're judges, and they render righteous judgment on the behalf of Yah, right? So that's what I know it to be up until this day, based on my little bit of research and what Yahuwah has shared with me, what I've heard him say like audibly to me. Because when I hear stuff, I'm always testing to see whose voice it is, right? Things have to line up for me. Otherwise, I just kind of set it aside for a while. But normally, after I begin to look into things, I'll begin to see, okay, Father, this was you. This clearly lines up with what you require of your people, of your community, of the kingdom you rule. Because it's ultimately Yahuwah who rules in the kingdom of men, right? But there's still hierarchy. There's hierarchy in the unseen realms, and it kind of merges. I ain't gonna say it kind of, but it does merge with the physical realm. But a lot of us who are not on the frequency of the unseen world, of the unseen realm, you can't see it, you know. So that's why you hear people say, you hear people say it, but you can see it in scripture as well. But in the New Testament, is really familiar to people's ears. Let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Because if you read through scripture, through the Old Testament, it's literally given like legal terms. There's a lot of legal terms, and it's always talking about judgment, not necessarily judgment, you're going to go to hell type judgment, but actually judgment, rendering good advice, good information, good solid teaching, things where people can take and live their lives by and change. That's rendering proper judgment, deciding what's good and evil, and taking the better thing and applying it, with having wisdom, having the wisdom to be able to apply it, so judges will be like, think about Samuel. You can see some of the judges throughout scripture. Clearly, there are women judges. Think about Deborah. Think about Judith. It didn't label Judith as a judge, but Judith was a judge. Judith, you can also put her in a category of a king, because after her husband died, she literally, although they didn't, Judith is the king of our nation or the queen of our nation, everybody knew that the wisdom of Yah resided in her, and they knew that she lived a holy and a set apart life. Anything she asked Yah, it was revealed to her. The woman fasted 5 days a week and only ate 2 days out of the week for the rest of her life. Like, she was on the frequency of the unseen world, and she was able to see how they merged together. Like, even when we was talking about the other day with some of the astral projection stuff, you're able to see. Church world calls it seeing into the spirit. Other places call it different things, but you're able to see what's going on and be able to adjust the physical realm. And you should be adjusting it for the best outcome and not to be selfish and just to do some other uncouth things, right? So you also have to be, and let me also say something by saying that with the merging of the worlds and being able to see into the spirit, you have some people who are in ministry, who have called themselves, or however, they're there, right? Some of them have titles. Y'all may have given them. They may have given it to themselves. But y'all have to be careful. Anytime, that's why I truly believe you have to test the spirit by the spirit to make sure what you're hearing is coming from the spirit of Yah, right? Because there are some people, excuse me, some people don't believe it. And a lot of Christian, I ain't gonna say a lot of Christian people, because some Christian people kind of waking up like this. I don't know what's wrong, what's going on with that. But clearly you know something I don't, right? Okay, so also Yahuwah tells us, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna say. First of all, Yahuwah gives us guidelines on how to operate and how not to be led astray by certain things, right? And he also teaches in Deuteronomy chapter 13. Deuteronomy chapter 13 and Deuteronomy chapter 18. It talks about, I believe Deuteronomy 18 talks about those who dream and have dreams. I believe 13 was the one that talks about not falling prey to signs and wonders. But both of them are kind of talking about the same thing, but each chapter brings out a few different points, where I believe is 18 kind of focuses on those who dream, and 13 is more of focuses on signs and wonders and stuff, right? Because remember, Yahuwah just don't do signs and wonders all willy-nilly. There's a reason why he does it, for the betterment of the whole, everybody that's present now and those who will be present in the future, right? So when we understand that, you won't be so easily led astray, especially if you're in the church realm, church world, by people who do signs and wonders. Remember that the recent one we talked about, the Bible. I know that's not a Bible, but that the guy in Georgia who had this Bible that was producing oil. What was the point of that, right? What was the point of that? Why would Yahuwah do that type of thing? It's not just for oohs and ahs and likes and shares and followers and all that stuff. There is a very specific reason why Yahuwah does signs, wonders, and miracles. And a lot of time, the base reason is to save someone, right? Okay, so let's keep that there. But also, when you get into the church, a lot of people are taken with signs and wonders, and people who can see into the spirit. Now, I'm not going to apply my air pumps to everybody, because there are some people who genuinely have a gift and they are not prostituting it. But there are some people who prostitute that gift, and a lot of people are none the wiser. They're none the wiser, and they can't tell the difference. Because if some people, there are a lot of people, I've seen it. Even watching some videos, I can tell different ones who have prostituted that they've prostituted a principle. Let's just say it that way. They've prostituted a principle that they understand and know how to work. And then they'll take it and come into the church realm and they'll begin giving prophecies. And thus saith the Lord. But that ain't thus saith Yahuwah. You was able to see that. You were able to step into the realm, pull out some information and apply it. And you want to give yourself credence or have people give you credentials because something you saw that was going to happen, like, oh, the Lord must have showed you that, or you was able to see this about me. Nobody could have told you that but the Lord. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because if you know how to step into that realm, you can pull out information about anybody whom you want to kind of lay that information on. And especially if they are ignorant to these things, they're ignorant to spiritual things, they'll truly think it's a word from the Lord. And it's not. It's not a word from Yah, right? It's a word from this person, their human spirit. And a lot of times these people end up giving you money or doing stuff for you. And I'm like, and you try to wait. Some things you just can't tell some people. They literally have to experience it in order to get it. Some people literally have to be smacked in the face before they'll understand it, you know, and sometimes that's a hard pill for some people to swallow, but everybody is not seeing into the spirit. Everybody is not hearing from Yah, right? I'm telling you what I know from being able to understand how to operate in between two worlds and kind of like get in there. And like we were talking about the other day, it's scary. You got to be careful because when you step into that realm, just like you can see other people and see into other people's lives, people know when you step into that realm. You become known when you step into that realm, right? So if you, I don't know if y'all guys ever watched a movie, not a movie, it's like a series. I mentioned it before. It's called The Magicians, like people who are not in the church, but they're in other forms and sects of religion where there's Satanism. And I bring them up a lot because I see them operating in it a lot. And when I look at churches sometime, or when if I go to it, I ain't been to one in years because I made a vow once I realized what it was. I was like, I'm never walking into another one of those structures ever again. You know, you can see it working. So some people think some people are full of the spirit of Yah and that's a servant of Yah. I'm like, you better try again. They're not. They are fooling y'all. Even some of the ones they give prop. I'm like, this is disgusting. Like, this is disgusting. And all y'all are blind. None of y'all are seeing this. And they get the most subscribers. I ain't talking about people that get subscribers, but I'm telling you, some of the ones that I know are you shaky. You better stop it before you get too far. Who is going to deal with you because you're leading people astray. And I've had dreams about certain pastors who were doing this, and I saw what was coming for them if they didn't get out of that, because they were using let's just say ability. Some people call it gift. They were prostituting that gift and using it to only benefit themselves and literally just to build their own kingdom, their own wealth and stuff. And that's not what it's there for, right? Because everybody literally has access to that realm, but everybody really don't care to operate in that realm, or some may not be aware of that realm. But those of us who've had supernatural experiences know that there is something other than us, right? But to know and understand that you actually can step into that realm, you literally just, I ain't even gonna say you got to clean yourself up, but I would recommend you clean yourself up so you don't get taken to the dark side, so to speak. Just put it easy as that. So you don't get taken over to the dark side and begin to do uncouth things like some of these pastors and preachers and teachers and evangelists and apostles, I don't care what you call yourself, some of them are doing, like, and it's famous ones that are doing it, right? You can kind of look at them, at least from my perspective and what I know, there's like different patterns that they all tend to begin to have, and you can kind of see it, which triggers me. Something is wrong with you. What are you really doing? Right? And I'll start side-eyeing people. And a lot of times I'll come to find out that you really not getting your information from Yah, are you? And you are really leading this congregation of people astray who trust you, that trust that you are really hearing from Yah. So y'all got to be careful. Check behind me even. I'm telling you, I don't trust nobody. I've been led astray too long. So that's why I tell people, check behind me. Go check everybody out. Your mama, your daddy. And if something is off, ask a question. Excuse me. Can I? Something don't seem quite right. Can you explain this to me? Why is it that? And if they start giving you attitude because thus saith the Lord, you don't question the Lord. They do stuff like that. Either one, they ignorant and they don't know, or two, that's your key to kick rocks. Get out of there as fast as you can. All right, so I know you just asked me a simple question, but it's just a little bit. So, okay, judge, what do you mean judges? I just kind of want to explain just a little bit without all the references and stuff, but I'm going to pull them up. Some of them I actually have to go back and re-look up and write down because all of them I didn't write down. And a lot of it comes from my dreams and me researching my dreams and trying to understand them and stuff and pulling things out. And when I can see the connection, I'll put it together. So, yeah. Shatera, can you fast 2 days straight, like 48 hours, or do you fast during the day and eat at night? People do it different ways. You can fast 2 days straight. Like I've done like 2 days, like 2.5 days with nothing to eat or nothing to drink. That's called a dry fast. But yeah, you can do it straight like that. Some people, they do a fast where they fast during the daylight hours and they eat at night. I've done a combination of both. I guess it just depends on what you're trying to do. But I wouldn't recommend that you do dry fasts longer. Now, let me just say this. I ain't gonna say you can't, because I clearly I've seen, at least from what they share, they've done a dry fast for 6 or 7 days. They said it was like a week, 6 or 7 days, but that's literally nothing to eat or nothing to drink. And believe it or not, doing a dry fast is easier than doing a fast where you eat in intervals, because, when you go to sleep at night and the eating process stops, it's easy to fast by not putting anything in your body. If you decide, like, say you want to fast tomorrow, when you wake up in the morning, if you want to get your fast off to a good start, it's best not to put anything. It's best not to digest anything, including water, because you won't start the ghrelin system and the digestive system. The first time your body gets something to drink or something to eat, you start that digestive system process up. That's like in the morning, they call it breakfast. You're breaking your fast from the previous night. So, but yeah, even if you're going to do a fast with liquids, I say it's always, from my personal experience, it's always best to start with like 1 or 2 days dry fast, because it's just kind of easier to get to day 3. But if you dilly-dallying around with it, it's gonna be kind of hard. So, but that's just from my personal experience. But if you're not in the habit of fasting a lot and you're just starting it, you're gonna have to build yourself up to it. It's just like going to the gym. You're gonna have to, because I'm gonna fast 3 days, but you can't get past the first 2 hours of the first day. Oh my gosh, I'm starving to death. Like, you really have to begin with this. Your gut really is not the problem, right? It's your mind. It's your mind you have to train, especially if you're going to fast all the time and make a habit, a lifestyle of fasting like Judith. Judith ate only 2 days out the week. And those 2 days was the Sabbath, and the day before the Sabbath, the preparation day to prepare for the Sabbath, right? The other 5 days, think about how much mental discipline she had. Like, complete, or that seemed like to me, complete control over the flesh. And me, I only wish, like I really want to have the discipline that Judith had, right? But I still struggle with it sometimes. But I realize it's really not my gut that I have to deal with. It's this right here, and you have to deal with and from my personal experience, I had to deal with my attachments to food, my unhealthy attachments to food, my emotional eating. It's literally a whole process of deliverance that begins to happen here when you begin to fast, right? So I'm telling you, everybody should fast. Make it a habit. You got to start somewhere, right? Okay, so y'all, let's start reading. We already like 30 minutes in and we ain't even read. We're going to be in Ezra only again today. Okay, all right, y'all. Ezra, but thanks for those questions. Thank you. Okay, 4th Ezra, chapter 8. And he answered me. Remember, Ezra is still asking these questions. Why the good die and the wicked get away with stuff, right? At least why do your people keep dying and all the other nations who reject you? Why does that seem like they keep getting the best of everything? And so the angel is coming, answering the questions. He's bringing it directly from Yah. Okay. Chapter 8. And he answered me, saying, El Elyon has made this world for many, but the world to come for a few. I will tell you a similitude, Ezra, as when you ask the earth, it shall say unto you that it gives much mold, mood, M-O-U-L-D. Hold on. I will tell you a similitude, Ezra, as when you ask the earth, it shall say unto you that it gives much mold, whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold comes of. Even so is the course of this present world. Okay. So what it's saying is that the earth, it supplies a lot of dirt for different molds. Like the dirt of the earth was plenteous to mold human beings. Like there was a lot of dirt for that. But the what creates the gold, it's very little of that, right? So one is a little more precious, and it's like there's a limited edition, a limited resources of this because it's a little more precious. Not that we aren't precious. Clearly we were, but y'all for the sake of the example in here, I will tell you a similitude, Ezra. As when you ask the earth, it shall say unto you that it gives much mold, whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold comes of. Even so is the course of this present world. There be many created, but few shall be saved. So answer I and said, swallow then down, O my soul, understanding, and devour wisdom. For you have agreed to give ear and are willing to prophesy, for you have no longer space than only to live. O Yahuwah, if you suffer not your servant, that we may pray before you, and you give us seed unto our heart, and culture to our understanding, that there may come fruit of it, how shall each man live that is corrupt, who bears the place of a man? For you are alone, and we all one workmanship of your hands, like as you have said. For when the body is fashioned now in the mother's womb, and you give it members, your creature is preserved in fire and water, and 9 months your workmanship endures your creature which is created in her. I love how they just like put words together. Look, hold on, look. For when the body is fashioned now in the mother's womb, and you give it members, your creature is preserved in fire and water, and 9 months your workmanship endures your creature which is created in her. But that which keeps and is kept shall both be preserved. And when the time comes, the womb preserved delivers up the things that grew in it. For you have commanded out of the parts of the body, that is to say, out of the breast, milk to be given, which is the fruit of the breast, that the thing which is fashioned may be nourished for a time, till you dispose it to your mercy. That's so good. Look, I ain't gonna start telling stories, y'all. Hold on, I'm gonna read. You brought it up. You brought it up with your righteousness and nurtured it in your Torah and reformed it with your judgment. And you shall mortify it as your creature and quicken it as your work. If therefore you shall destroy him which with so great labor was fashioned, it is an easy thing to be ordained by your commandment, that the thing which was made might be preserved. Now therefore, Adonai, I will speak. Touching man in general, you know best, but touching your people, for whose sake I am sorry, and for your inheritance, for whose cause I mourn, and for Yasharal, or Israel, for whom I am heavy, and for Yaakov, or Jacob, for whose sake I am troubled. Therefore will I begin to pray before you for myself and for them, for I see the falls of us that dwell in the land. But I have heard the swiftness of the judge which is to come. Therefore, hear my voice and understand my words, and I shall speak before you. This is the beginning of the words of Ezra before he was taken up. And I said, O Yahuwah, that you dwell in everlastingness, which behold from above things in heaven and in the air, whose throne is inestimable, whose glory may not be comprehended, before whom the hosts of heaven stand with trembling, whose service is conversing in the wind and fire, whose word is true, and sayings constant, whose commandment is strong, and ordinance fearful, whose look dries up the depths, and imagination makes the mountains to melt away, which the truth witness. Oh, hear the prayer of your servant, and give ear to the petition of your creature. For while I live, I will speak, and so long as I have understanding, I will answer. Oh, look not upon the sins of your people, but on them which serve you in truth. Regard not the wicked inventions of the heathen, but the desire of those that guard your testimonies and afflictions. Think not upon those who have walked vainly before you, but remember them which according to your will have known your fear. Let it not be your will to destroy them which have lived like beasts, but to look upon them that have clearly taught your Torah. Take no indignation at them which are deemed worse than beasts, but love them that always put their trust in your righteousness and glory. For we and our fathers do languish of such diseases, but because of us sinners, you shall be called merciful. For if you have a desire to have mercy upon us, you shall be called merciful to us, namely, that have no works of righteousness. For the just, which have many good works laid up with you, shall out of their own deeds receive reward. For what is man that you should take displeasure at him? Or what is a corruptible generation that you should be so bitter toward it? For in truth, there is no man among them that be born, but he has dealt wickedly. And among the faithful, there is none which has not done amiss. For in this, O Yahuwah, your righteousness and your goodness shall be declared. If you be merciful unto them which have not the confidence. Sorry, I read that too fast. Okay. For in this, O Yahuwah, your righteousness and your goodness shall be declared, if you be merciful unto them which have not confidence of good works. Then answered he me and said, some things have you spoken aright, and according to your words it shall be. For indeed, I will not think upon the disposition of them which have sinned before death, before judgment, before destruction, but I will rejoice over the disposition of the righteous, and I will remember also their pilgrimage and the salvation and the reward that they shall have. Like as I have spoken now, so it shall come to pass. For as the husbandman sows much seed upon the ground and plants many trees, and yet the thing that is sown good in his season comes not up, neither does all that is planted take root. Even so, it is of them that are sown by the world, they shall not be saved. And you notice we hear this also in the New Testament, the parable about the seeds being sown. I'm going to read this again for you. Hold on, it said, like as I have spoken now, so shall it come to pass. For as the husbandman sows much seed upon the ground and plants many trees, and yet the thing that is sown good in his season comes not up, neither does all that is planted take root. And clearly I know that because some seeds I sow in my garden, it's the same principle. Everything that Yahuwah wants us to understand and wants to teach us, there is always something here in the natural realm that we can put our hands to, where he can begin to reveal like spiritual principles to us based on what we can understand here in the physical realm, right? So a lot of people who get different revelations from Yahuwah, they'll get the revelations from their area of expertise, right? So they'll begin to understand spiritual things, like if you're a medical student or a doctor or RN, and you study the scriptures, Yahuwah will begin to teach you and give you revelation of the scriptures based on what you know and what you can identify with in your profession in this world. So everything he reveals to you, he'll talk to you. If you're in the medical field, he'll talk to you from the medical perspective. That's how you can kind of tell different people in different professions that can teach you the truth of Yahuwah's Torah, because they really understand it, because they really understand what it is they do in the natural realm, their craft. Even if you are a real estate person, somebody in real estate, and you begin to take the truth of what Yahuwah is teaching in his Torah, you can see those principles in an area of your expertise. Even if I ain't gonna say even if you're just a housewife, because that's I think that's so disrespectful to women who bear and raise children. Like, you're literally raising the next generation. You're raising, like, this is literally precious cargo, and everything that these children know and learn, this is a product of you and your husband, or the teachings that Yahuwah has taught you. It will come to fruition in the lives of your children, and they'll just take it another level, right? So when you see teachers who maybe their number one, I just don't want to say that the wrong way. No disrespect to any women who they're what they do, they take pride in what they do, teaching their children and taking care of the home front, right? When they teach, they can teach from that perspective, from the lives of raising their children and the different shenanigans that their family experience because the children and how they learn, and they're able to kind of take those principles of some of the follies and stuff that they've experienced in their own household and apply the Torah to it and teach it where people can understand it. And a lot of people draw people to themselves that come from their own sphere, or their own, like somebody who's a teacher that's from the real estate world. They'll tend to gather people to them from that same area of life. Not that they don't gather anybody else, but a lot of people who understand that lingo, they're attracted to that. They can hear, and they can hear truth in the language that they understand, right? And to be clear. And people tend to hold on to the truth when they can hear it in a language where they can understand, right? Y'all, that's powerful. So you can be an engineer, just like the book that I recommended the other day, My Big Toe. Although he doesn't claim to be a spiritual person, he understands spiritual principles from the perspective of being an engineer, somebody that's a data person that takes data, raw data, and is able to put it together in a story where, boom, this is this, right? Like this, I don't know, this right here, this mouse is a product of raw data that we were able to put together and form into this tangible thing where people now can take and use it, right? It's so good. It's so good. Let me get back. I'm about to click off of this by mistake. Hold on. Like as I have spoken now, so it shall come to pass. For as the husbandman sows much seed upon the ground and plants many trees, and yet the thing that is sown good in his season comes not up, neither does all that is planted take root. Even so it is of them that are sown in the world. They shall not all be saved. I answered then and said, I have found grace. Let me speak. Like as the husbandman's seeds perishes, if it come not up, and receive not your rain in due season, or if there come too much rain and corrupt it, even so perishes man also, which is formed with your hands and is called in your own image, because you are like unto him, for whose sake you have made all things, and liken him unto the husbandman's seed. Be not wroth with us, but spare your people, and have mercy upon your own inheritance, for you are merciful unto your creature. Then answered he me and said, things present are for the present, and things to come for such as be to come. For you come far short that you should be able to love my creature more than I. But I have oft times drawn nigh unto you and unto it, but never to the unrighteous. In this also you are marvelous before El Elyon, and that you have humbled yourself as it becomes you, and have not judged yourself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. But understand for yourself, and seek out the glory for such as be like you. For unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared. Plenteousness is made ready, a city is built, and rest is allowed, yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. The root of evil is sealed up from you. Weakness, excuse me. The root of evil is sealed up from you. Weakness and the moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into Sheol to be forgotten. Sorrows or remember we talked about Sheol yesterday, or Sheol simply means the grave. Like, this is going to be buried, done, and gone. It's going to be non-existent for you. The root of evil is sealed up from you. Weakness and the moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into Sheol to be forgotten. Sorrows are past, and in the end it showed the treasure of immortality. And therefore ask no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish. For when they had taken liberty, they despised El Elyon, thought scorn of his Torah, and forsook his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteous, and said in their heart that there is no Elohim. Yea, and that knowing they must die. I'm gonna read that again. Hold on. For when they had taken liberty, or they like, you know what, we're gonna live like we want to live here. For when they had taken liberty, they despised El Elyon, or Yahuwah. They despised Yahuwah, thought scorn of his Torah, and forsook his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteous, and said in their heart that there is no Elohim. Yea, and that knowing they must die. For as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it was not his will that men should come to naught, but they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful to him which prepared life for them. And therefore is my judgment now at hand. These things have I not showed unto all men, but unto you and a few like you. Then answered I and said, Behold, O Yahuwah, and now have you showed me the multitude of the wonders which you will begin to do in the last times, but at what time you have not shown me. Okay, that was one chapter. Shalom, Hezekiah. All right, y'all. Next chapter. I was just checking. I thought it was a question for me. Y'all talking amongst yourselves. Shalom, Mom. Okay, I know you've been here for a while. I just kind of looked up. And I may have said, hey, when you came in. I forgot. Okay, 4th Ezra chapter 9. He answered me and said, measure you the time diligently in itself. And when you see part of the signs pass, which I have told you before, then shall you understand that it is the very same time wherein El Elyon will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shall you well understand that El Elyon spoke of these things from the days that were before you, even from the beginning. So when you read, a lot of people get hung up on like Matthew chapter 24 and the different end of the world chapters. Like I said, if you're not familiar with the Torah, you don't even know where this stuff is taken from. Some of it, a little bit, is word for word. Some of it is fluff added around it. But when you know Yahuwah's word, you're able to pinpoint it. Okay, this is the truth, and this was taken from here. This was taken from here. So the book of Revelation and these end of the world chapters in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. John doesn't really necessarily have it in there, but it's like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Revelation. Everything else is stuff is kind of added in around it, you know, and like good life lessons you can like take and apply to yourself. But some stuff was taken directly from a compilation. Like a lot of Revelation is taken from a lot of Ezra, all the books of Ezra, especially the Apocrypha, the ones that they canonized and they uncanonized, separated, call it hidden. Stay away from that. It's not inspired by God. Yeah, it ain't inspired by your God, the one whom at the top they know to be Lucifer. That's why they say don't read that, because you'll be able to put stuff together. Wait a minute, hold on. Did I read that song? Wait, you said this. But Yahuwah been saying this from the beginning. Y'all just kind of change the words just a little bit. Even when people change up the words, if you are familiar with Yahuwah's words and how he spoke things, you're able to detect things. You're able, I don't know. It's the best way I don't know. It just registers. It just registers. Red flags pop up and you're able to detect that they've mixed truth with error or extra stuff on top of it. Okay, so I just want to say that a lot of that revelation comes from Daniel, Ezra, Maccabees. Don't nobody really read Maccabees, especially the first book of Maccabees, the first chapter, which actually explains, it gives the fulfillment to Daniel, where Daniel, I believe it's Daniel chapter 9 and 12, where they say, oh, this is the Antichrist. I'm like, no, y'all, that's dope. We're going to go read Maccabees. And it'll give you the fulfillment of what Daniel, it's crazy, y'all. Y'all, we ain't gonna go there. Let me hurry up and finish. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shall you well understand that El Elyon spoke of these things from the days that were before you, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of El Elyon have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And everyone, excuse me, hold on, I gotta get a sip of water out. Hold on. Okay. Even so, the times also of El Elyon have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by belief, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. For I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then shall they be pitiful in case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my Torah while they yet had liberty, and when as yet a place of repentance was open unto them, understood not but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. Sheesh. And therefore be not curious how the wicked shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. He said, listen, don't inquire about why they're getting away with all this stuff. He said they're getting chance after 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 chance, right? Until they go to take that big nap, right? They said they had liberty at all these times to turn to my Torah, but they didn't. They had all these times to listen to truth, but they didn't. They had all these times to know and understand me, but they heard not and they understood not, right? He said, but those that don't know me here and don't know these principles, when they have liberty, they're going to have to understand it and learn it by pain. I'm like, sheesh. Whew. Yo, he said, so, and therefore be not curious how the wicked shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is and for whom the world is created. Then answered I and said, I have before and now do speak and will speak it also hereafter, that there be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved. Like a wave is greater than a drop. And he answered me, saying, like as the field is, so also is the seed. As the flowers be, such are the colors also. Such as the workman is, such also is the work. And as the husbandman is himself, so is his husbandry also. For it was the time of the world. And now when I prepared the world, which was not yet made, even for them to dwell in that now live, no man spoke against me. For then everyone obeyed. And now the manners of them which are created in this world that is made are corrupted by a perpetual seed, and by a Torah which is unsearchable rid themselves. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were to come into it. And I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a grape of a cluster, and the plant of a great people. Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain. Let my grape be kept, and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. Nevertheless, if you will cease yet 7 more days, but you shall not fast in them, but go into a field of flowers where no house is built. Eat only the flowers of the field. Taste no flesh. Drink no wine, but eat flowers only. Look, now for you, those of you that didn't know, I didn't even know that, well, I guess you can kind of say you did, but there are flowers that are actually edible. Like I got some seeds of flowers that you can grow or eat, like pretty looking flowers. Like dandelion is a flower. Some people think it's a weed, but dandelion is an actual flower. And it will actually, you can consider it to be in the herb family, which heals the body, right? And the herbs are for the healing of the nations. There is a lot of benefits to eating dandelion. Some people take it. They'll just take dandelion and they'll put it in their tea. You got dandelion tea. You got dandelion. They'll how is it? Dehydrate it, and they'll crush it up and they'll put it in capsule form. It's a lot of different ways you can take dandelion. Some people just take and just eat dandelions, right? I tried it. Look, because we got a bunch of dandelions that's actually growing out in front of our house. And Belle's like, oh, pretty flowers. I'm going to pick you some flowers. When I found out, I was like, oh, I should try this. But then, you know, I got this whole like, bugs been flying on these out here. I'm like, clearly bugs got to fly. Bees got to pollinate. It's the same stuff I go get out the grocery store. They just do all the intimate work and washing the bugs and stuff off, right? You know, so I was like, Pam, you got to quit being so friggin' shallow, right? Because even if I buy lettuce from the store, and I still buy it a lot, sometimes when you take it and you clean it, some people just take it out the bag and chop it up, put it on their plate and begin to garnish it. I wash off everything. Everything. I will, even romaine lettuce, you know how it comes in like the stalk? Like some people just take it, begin to cut up. No. I pull the stalk apart, leaf by leaf. That's why it takes me so long. James was like, you was the longest salad making person I've ever seen in my life. I said, I need to make sure ain't no bugs on this. It'll take me about, I get a little faster now. It'll take me about 30 minutes to make me a good salad because I'm taking off every leaf from that stalk and I'm washing it underwater, not just and put it on the plate. No, I literally take each leaf and I hold it under the water to make sure it don't feel slimy anymore. When it's nice and it got a grip to it, I'm like, okay. One. And I'll pull them all off. He said, is it this? I said, look, come feel this. I'm like, I don't know if this is pesticide. Some of them got little tiny fruit flies or whatever on. I said, I'm not eating this. I said, some people just like, I'm going to cut it up, I want to see it, put toppings and dressing over, and I ain't going to see it. I don't want to do that. I need to look at everything. I need to inspect everything. Let me watch this. Okay, there's a little bug. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm going to just chop that off because the bug set on that. I don't even want to digest that. You know, although I know it hasn't affected the leaf, but sometimes I'm just like, no, because I saw the bug there. I don't eat bugs. I'm going to just cut that part off because that has been defiled to me. And my husband like, you're doing too much. I say, no, I'm not. I'm ingesting this. This is my body. I want to make sure only life. And bugs is flesh. I ain't putting no more flesh in my body, right? So, but anyway, but yeah, hold on. I forgot even why I said that. Hold on. Oh, the flowers. Yeah, so there are edible flowers. So, yeah, I was just saying, if the bugs eat it, you can too. Laugh out loud, just saying, don't eat it if the lawn is chemically treated. Yeah, that's one thing I want to bring up too. Yeah, so if your lawns are chemically treated, I wouldn't necessarily recommend eating the dandelions. But I know out here it's not chemically treated. So I did, but I took it and I rinsed it off so much. And I think I just washed away all the flowers. I was like, okay, we'll taste it. I washed it off the first time I did it. Josh was like, no, you're not. I said, well, it's edible, Josh. Mom, I said, Josh, it's an edible flower. I said, look, I'm going to just take off one petal. I'm like, what it tastes like? I said, I don't know. It's so small. I can't even taste it. Let me get another one. Can you taste it? No, I still can't. He said, just put the whole thing in your mouth. I said, absolutely not. Throw this away. It was funny. I'd be handful of my kids, but seriously, you can get dandelion. I'd much rather at this point, I'll just buy capsule, let somebody else do that. But I'm sure I will maybe someday soon. I may do it myself. I do make my capsule for some stuff. Not dandelion just yet. I'm still trying to get over this whole mind thing, and it's been outside. But even all the fruits and stuff I eat, it's been outside. It's just been prepared and packaged by somebody else. Why I ain't go through all that? I know. I need to get myself together, y'all. Pray for a sister. The urban Israelite shalom. Okay, look. And pray unto El Elyon continually, then will I come and talk with you. Hold on, let me go back up. Nevertheless, if you will cease yet 7 days more, but you shall not fast in them, but go into a field of flowers where no house is built, and eat only the flowers of the field. Taste no flesh, drink no wine, but eat flowers only, and pray unto El Elyon continually. Then will I come and talk with you. So I went my way into the field, which is called Ardath, like as he commanded me. And there I sat among the flowers and did eat of the herbs of the field. Let's see, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it is the herbs of the field. And I did eat of the herbs of the field, and the meat of the same satisfied me. So also notice that if you do a little bit of research on this, you'll realize that life-giving foods, plant-based foods, that was considered as meat. But the language barriers and all the mixation of the words and stuff and the same sounding sounds of words that mean different things. I'm going to meet you over there today, but I'm going to bring some meat to our meeting. What? You know, so in the beginning, when they said meat, when the scripture talked about meat, it wasn't talking about eating the animals. It was literally talking about eating things that grow from the earth, plant-based foods. That's what gives these bodies life. This is what causes these bodies to grow and thrive. Although you can live on other stuff, but you're going to live a poor quality of life, and it's going to break your body down, and you're going to shorten your lifespan by eating things that were never meant to be consumed by humans, right? We don't even have even if you do the study, even our teeth, right? Things that were created to devour flesh have fangs where they can bite into flesh. You go out here and try and jump on the back of a cow and bite its backside. Let's see how far you get. Your teeth will not even penetrate that tough hide because it wasn't made to bite into flesh, right? The flesh that we were created to bite into are like flesh of apples. See how easy it is? It's ready. We got our pickles, our hands, we just grab it and it's ready for us, right? It's ready for us. Yeah, definitely, Hezekiah. Is this one of the scriptures that helped push y'all to plant-based? Yes, it was. What really pushed me plant-based, though, was when I had gotten really sick and the doctors were trying to just give me a bunch of drugs and stuff, and I couldn't. I thought that shit is up a couple times, but I was pregnant. It was my morning. It was my morning sickness, but it was more than morning sickness, and I was just having different female issue problems in my body and stuff. It's just, and shucks, I had Josh 10 years ago. I had him, and I was 32 years old, y'all. I just turned 42 this year. Imagine being 32 that young, beginning to have issues with your body. That should not be. And it's proven when I began to remove the meat from my diet and the dairy from my diet. And I'm in a process now. You kind of call me a junk food vegan. Say, you plant-based? You don't look plant-based. Because you can still get a little juicy and fat while being plant-based. Because there are some things like, I love potatoes, I love rice, I love bread, but they don't love me, right? So it's another level of my deliverance, my attachment to these types of foods. I got to get rid of them out of my diet, right? But also, even while fasting, I'll notice that even some of the plant-based foods, like the real starchy ones, it'll make you sleepy. It takes more energy to digest those. And it's like, even bananas are good, but bananas do it to me too. But I love me some banana smoothies. And I'm going to add some cacao powder to it and some peanut butter. That's my main vice right there, because I love chocolate. So I'm transitioning from the chocolate all the time to milk chocolate. Then I was like, and get the cacao powder, right? So a more natural chocolate. I'm trying to transition myself off of each one. But still, like the peanut butter pack a lot of pounds on you, right? Peanut butter. But they have natural plant-based powdered ones. I don't necessarily like the taste. That's why I love. If I can't have nothing else, I'm keeping the peanut butter in my diet. And the peanut butter is keeping the weight on my body too. So I got this kind of love-hate relationship with peanut butter. Like, no, not today. Just a little bit today. So, but yeah. But yet it is. It's one of the scriptures that helped me while I was sick. I'm like, wait a minute, maybe we need to apply this, because I began to notice my body began to heal itself, began to feel better when I took those things that everybody pushed. Yeah, you can eat that. It's clean meat, ain't it? You can eat it. Go ahead. It still made my body feel horrible. And there was a a stark difference, like night and day, when I removed the meat and the dairy from my body. I ain't 100% dairy free because I love me some cheese too, right? But I done toned it down a little bit. So now, like my last few salads, I haven't put much cheese on it, but I realize I don't even really miss it too much anymore. You just gotta, at least me. Some people go cold turkey from a lot of stuff. Like I went cold turkey from meat. Dairy is another whole issue for me, but I'm working towards the truth and complete healing in my body. So I'm just saying, yeah, but these scriptures help a lot, especially when you have a proper understanding of it. And when you can actually begin to test it in your body and see like, wait a minute, somebody lying to me because I'm eating meat and it's clean meat. I'm growing my meat myself, slaughtered, but I'm still, feel like I'm having a heart attack. This gas ain't going nowhere. Oh man, the pains in my back, and it's crazy. Like even like arthritis and stuff, y'all, it leaves your body when you go to a plant-based diet, because plant foods, even when you pick it, it's still living, like until it dies. It's living while it goes into your body always. But you literally have to slaughter flesh. You have to consume, when you eat flesh, you're consuming dead things. Like if you're only supposed, like nothing can live, at least for too long, constantly consuming flesh if that's not your original nature or how Yahuwah has created you. Because if we were created to thrive off of life and life in every aspect, the food we eat, the things we see, the things we study, what we hear, if it doesn't bring us life, if it in itself isn't living, and we don't put it in our bodies living, we can't remain living for too long. It's this slippery slope. It's a slow slide into death's chambers, down into Sheol, right? It's a slow slide, right? If you constantly can keep consuming death, you're going to die. You're going to become dumbed down. You're going to become sleepy. It happens spiritually first, then it begins to outwardly manifest itself in your physical realm until your body goes to the grave, right? It's crazy, y'all. Hold on. Oh, yeah, thanks, Hezekiah. He said, nothing wrong, sis. It's a process. It'll be hard for me to give up some of those things, too, especially after cutting meat. Yeah, I'm going to need something to fill me up while I feel you. Yeah. Hey, you got to do what works for you. As long as you keep moving, you will keep moving. Look, as long as you keep moving, you will keep moving. I did a 7-day vegan challenge and definitely noticed a difference. And I don't even think my body was fully detoxed. I can only imagine how it feels when you go permanently. It's crazy. It's crazy. It is. It's a night and day difference. It's like I cannot go back to that. Because I mentioned the other day too, like when I did it for a while, I was like complete vegan, like no meat, no dairy, nothing. But when I got pregnant again 2 years later, I started having these, like with my 8-year-old Josiah, I started having these cravings for fish and hot sauce, and then fried chicken and hot sauce. They were so bad. You would have thought that I was addicted to something. They just kept coming like, ugh. And I would leave out, look, family know I'm vegan. I'm going to confess my sins to the brethren. And I was still in school. I was going astray. I was taking a night class. And so when I would leave out, and finally it just got the best of me, right? What I learned at that point, because I was so upset with myself when I did that, I realized that my body was missing something. It was craving something, but it wasn't necessarily the fish and like the hot sauce and stuff. My body was craving something, but the only thing that I had like memory of that would have some sort of like a synthetic form of what my body needed was fish and hot sauce. And so let me say, y'all, this is terrible. I finally told my husband, I left one night to go to school. My husband here with the kids. And I was like, man, this is, you feel, I ain't never been addicted to drugs or nothing, but you feel like you out there, you searching for whoever got it. I done rolled up to rallies. Supposed to be heading to school, pull up to rallies. I don't know why I felt convicted that I was ordering some of their buffalo wings, because they didn't know I was vegan. Like you a normal customer. Okay, what you want? How many wings you want, sis? Yeah, give me let me get a 6. No, Let me get that 10 piece. Why are you whispering? Can you speak up, please? Like, ain't nobody in the car with me or nothing. Oh, yeah, let me get that 10 piece. The buffalo wing. Can you add extra sauce on? Yep, got me some fries and everything. I drove to the school, sat in the parking lot, parked all the way in the back, make sure I was lodged between two vehicles that didn't have people sitting in them, make sure it was empty so nobody could see me consuming his flesh. Y'all, I ate all 10 of the wings, sitting there, licking my fingers, popping my French fries in my mouth, drinking my strawberry soda and everything. As pregnant as I want to be. I think I was like 4 months at this time. Yo, I felt so convicted. I didn't even go into class that night. I sat out there eating chicken buffalo wings with extra hot sauce and stuff. And then I had been off of it for like 2 whole years, right? 2 whole years. But it tore my stomach up something bad. You thought that would have been enough, like, let me repent. I done backslid. I'm going back to my whole plant-based lifestyle. No, I didn't stop there. I found one and got me some fish. Doing all this stuff and tearing my body up, bowels and everything. Can't stay woke or nothing. And I'm like, my husband's like, you okay? I said, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the morning sickness. Me knowing it's because I had started putting meat back in my body. And finally, I was like, this is too much. This is too much. And the first time he said, wait, is that fish? I was like, look, I made fish for him. He just happened to walk in the kitchen while I thought I was trying to sneak me a taste. He's like, whoo, what? Did you just? I was like, look. I ain't said, I just looked at him. He said, it was like an awkward silence in the kitchen. And he just, that's why you've been sick? How many times you've been sneaking pieces of meat? I'm like, look, forgive me. I done fell out the bandwagon. No, but my husband, he's like, look, I don't care. Eat what you gonna eat. You pregnant. Don't deny yourself. Now I was like, you are not helping me any. He said, look, it's your body. If you want it, eat it. If you want me to go get you some more, I'll go get it. Whatever you need, I got it. I was like, look, I appreciate that, but I need you to help me to stay alive. But I joke with my husband, but so yeah. It definitely, I just want to share a little story with you. So, but after that pregnancy, after I had Josiah, it was like, yeah, I can't do this. I didn't like the way it made my body feel. And some of those same issues that I had going on began to kick back up. I was like, yep, no. And that's what stopped me completely from eating. I said, I can't do that anymore. Because however I done told my body up throughout the years that I've been alive, eating all the junks and all the junk foods and the different types of sweets and everything, putting bacon on everything. I just, it did something inside of my body that I couldn't necessarily see outwardly yet, but I was beginning to feel it, like that check engine light coming on at 32 years old, so it's like, yeah, I can't do that. And 2 years, although those 2 years that I was completely solid, no meat, no dairy, it helped restore my body in a way, but even just a little bit, I don't think I was on it long enough for it to completely heal at that time, some of the things that was going on, because I began to feel it come back on when I started putting meat back in my system again. I was like, yeah, no. So I started thinking about different people in my family and some of the issues they was having. I was like, yep, nope, I'm not going down that road, because I learned these things aren't hereditary. Like they say diabetes and all this stuff is passed down. No, it's not. Bad habits are passed down, which keeps you locked into that cycle like your father's sins. Right now you're suffering for your father's sins because you didn't put your father's sins away. Now you got diabetes too. Diabetes don't run in your family. Bad eating habits run into your family. And that's what was passed down to you. So I had to learn to put away some of the things that were not necessarily taught to me, but modeled to me just by lifestyle. You just pick it up. Nobody really have to teach you these things, but things that are modeled to you are taught to you through action. And that's what seals things into a lot of people. And it's hard for them to break away from teachings or ways of life and things that were modeled to them as they was growing up. You really have to make a conscious decision. We are not doing this. We're not going down the same road. I don't want to be having a heart attack at 45 years old, being in the grave by 57. I'm not. No. Absolutely not. So we have to make a conscious decision, and you test it. Like I like how my uncle said, he's like, the earth is literally a laboratory. We have to test everything. So test it. Even people say you can eat meat, test it. See how it works for your body. If they want to eat meat, that's fine. You go ahead and eat meat. But if you can tell the difference with your body, and if your body seems worse off when you consume flesh, then it will probably behoove you, if you have wisdom, you will probably make the decision, I'm going to choose just to put this away. I'm not going to consume this. I'm not going to come down on you because you are, but I've chosen not to walk on that road. I'm going to stick with this because I feel at my best here. My body thrives here. I have more energy. I don't even need to sleep a lot, so, but okay. Let me finish this, y'all. Here we go. We at an hour, 15 minutes. Look. Nevertheless, yeah. Wait. I'll just go back here with the flowers again. We was only a few sentences down. Nevertheless, if you will cease yet 7 days more, but you shall not fast in them, but go into a field of flowers where no house is built, and eat only the flowers of the field, taste no flesh, drink no wine, but eat flowers only, and pray unto El Elyon continually, then I will come and talk with you. So I went my way into the field, which is called Ardath, like as he has commanded me. And there I sat amongst the flowers, and did eat of the herbs of the field, and the meat of the same satisfied me. After 7 days I sat upon the grass, and my heart was vexed within me, like as before. And I opened my mouth and began to talk before El Elyon, and said, O Yahuwah, you that show yourself unto us, you were showed unto our fathers in the wilderness, in a place where no man treads, in a barren place, when they came out of Mitzrayim. Remember, Mitzrayim is Egypt. And you spoke, saying, hear me, O Yasharah, and mark my words, you seed of Jacob. For behold, I sow my Torah in you, and it shall bring fruit in you, and ye shall be honored in it forever. But our fathers, which received the Torah, kept it not, and observed not your ordinances, and through the fruit of your Torah did not perish, neither could it, for it was yours. Yet they that received it perished, because they kept not the thing that was sown in them. And lo, it is a custom, when the ground has received seed, or the sea a ship, or any vessel, meat or drink, that being perished wherein it was sown or cast into, that thing also which was sown or cast therein or receives perishes, and remains not with us. But with us it has not happened so. For we that have received the Torah perish by sin, and our heart also received it. Notwithstanding the Torah perishes not, but remains in his force. And when I spoke these things in my heart, I looked back with my eyes, and upon the right side I saw a woman. And behold, she mourned and wept with a loud voice, and was much grieved in her heart, and her clothes were rent, and she had ashes upon her head. Then I let my thoughts go that I was in, and turned me unto her, and said unto her, wherefore do you weep? Why are you so grieved in your mind? And she said unto me, Sir, let me alone, that I may bewail myself, and add unto my sorrow, for I am sore vexed in my mind, and brought very low. And I said unto her, what ails you? Tell me. She said unto me, I, your servant, have been barren, and had no child, though I had a man 30 years. And those 30 years I did nothing else day and night, and every hour, but make my prayer to El Elyon. After 30 years, Yahuwah heard me, your handmaid, looked upon my misery, considered my trouble, and gave me a son. And I was very glad of him. So was my man also, and all my neighbors. And we gave great honor unto El Shaddai. And I now nourish him with great travail. And I nourish him with great travail. So when he grew up and came to the time that he should have a woman, I made a feast. All right, y'all, last chapter for today, 4th Ezra chapter 10. And it's 59 verses. Stay with me, y'all, if you can. If you got to go to work, go to work. This is recorded. It's recorded. You can watch it later. Go render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Christy, hey, girl, hey. And it so came to pass that when my son was entered into his wedding chamber, he fell down and died. Then we all overthrew the lights, and all my neighbors rose up to comfort me. So I took my rest until the second day at night. And it came to pass, when they all left off to comfort me, to the end I might be quiet, then I rose up by night and fled, and came hither into this field, as you see. And I do now purpose not to return into the city, but here to stay, and neither to eat nor drink, but to continually mourn and fast until I die. Then I left the meditations wherein I was, and spoke to her in anger, saying, You foolish woman, above all other, you foolish woman, above all other, see you not your mourning and what happened to us? How that Zion, our mother, is full of all heaviness and much humble mourning, very sore. And now, seeing we all mourn and are sad, for we are all in heaviness, and you grieve for one son? For ask the earth, and she shall tell you, and it is she which ought to mourn for the fall of so many that grow upon her. For out of her came all at the first, and out of her all others come. And behold, they walk almost all into destruction, and a multitude of them is utterly rooted out. Who then should make more mourning than she that has lost so great a multitude, and not you which are sorry, but for one? But if you say unto me, my lamentation is not like the earth's, because I have lost the fruit of my womb, which I brought forth with pains and bore with sorrows. But the earth is not so, for the multitude present in it, according to the course of the earth, is gone as it came. Then I say unto you, like as you brought forth with labor, even so the earth also has given her fruit, namely man, since the beginning, unto him that made her. Now therefore keep your sorrow to yourself, and bear with good courage that which has befallen you. For if you shall acknowledge the determination of Elohim or Yahuwah to be just, you shall both receive your son in time, and shall be commended among women. Go your way then into the city to your man. And she said unto me, That will I not do. I will not go into the city, but here will I die. So I proceeded to speak further unto her and said, Do not so, but be counseled by me. For how many are the adversities of Zion? Be comforted in regard of the sorrow of Jerusalem. For you see that our sanctuary is laid waste, our altar broken down, our temple destroyed, our psaltery is laid on the ground, our song is put to silence, our rejoicing is at an end. The light of our menorah is put out, the ark of our covenant is spoiled, our holy things are defiled, and the name that is called upon us is almost profaned. Our children are put to shame, our priests are burnt, our Levites are gone into captivity, our virgins are defiled, our women ravished, our righteous men carried away, our little ones destroyed, our young men are brought in bondage, and our strong men are become weak. And which is the greatest of all? The seal of Zion has now lost her honor, for she is delivered into the hands of them that hate us. And therefore, shake off your great heaviness and put away the multitude of sorrows, that Yahuwah may be merciful unto you again. And Yahuwah shall give you rest and ease from your labor. And it came to pass, while I was talking with her, behold, her face, And it came to pass, while I was talking with her, behold, her face upon a sudden shine. Oh, I'm reading it too fast. And it came to pass, while I was talking with her, behold, her face upon a sudden shine, it should say her face all of a sudden shined exceedingly, and her countenance glistened, so that I was afraid of her, and mused what it might be. And behold, suddenly she made a great cry, very fearful, so that the earth shook at the noise of the woman. And I looked, and behold, the woman appeared unto me no more, but there was a city built, and a large place showed itself from the foundations. Then was I afraid, and cried with a loud voice, and said, Where is Uriel, the angel who came unto me at the first? For he has caused me to fall into many trances, and my end is turned into corruption, and my prayer to rebuke. And as I was speaking these words, behold, he came unto me and looked upon me, and lo, I lay as one that had been as dead, and my understanding was taken from me. And he took me by the right hand and comforted me and set me upon my feet and said unto me, what ails you? And why are you so disquieted? And why is your understanding troubled and the thoughts of your heart? And I said, because you have forsaken me, and yet I did according to your words and went into the field, and lo, I have seen and yet see that I am not able to express. And he said unto me, stand up manfully, and I will advise you. Then said I, speak on, my Lord, and me, only forsake me not, lest I die frustrated of my hope. For I have seen that I know not, and hear that I do not know. Or is my sense deceived, or my soul in a dream? Now therefore I beseech you that you show your servant this vision. He answered me and said, hear me, and I shall inform you and tell you wherefore of you are afraid. For Yahuwah will reveal many secret things unto you. He has seen that your way is right, for that you sorrow continually for your people and make great lamentation for Zion. This therefore is the meaning of the vision which you lately saw. You saw a woman mourning, and you began to comfort her. But now see you the likeness of the woman no more. But there appeared unto you a city built. And whereas she told you of the death of her son, this is the solution. This woman whom you saw is Zion. And whereas she said unto you, even she whom you see as a city built. Whereas I say, she said unto you that she has been 30 years barren. Those are 30 years wherein there was no offering made in her. But after 30 years, Solomon built the city and offered offerings, and then bore the barren a son. And whereas she told you that she nourished him with labor, that was the dwelling in Jerusalem. And whereas she said unto you that my son coming into his marriage chamber happened to have a fall and died, this was the destruction that came to Jerusalem. And behold, you saw her likeness, and because she mourned for her son, you began to comfort her. And of these things which I have chanced, these are to be opened unto you. But now El-Elyon sees that you are grieved unfeignedly, and suffer from your whole heart for her. So has he showed you the brightness of her glory and the comeliness of her beauty. And therefore I bade you remain in the field where no house was built, for I knew that El-Elyon would show this unto you. Therefore I commanded you to go into the field where no foundation of any building was. For in the place where El-Elyon begins to show his city, there can no man's building be able to stand. And therefore, fear not, let not your heart be frightened, but go your way in and see the beauty and greatness of the building, as much as your eyes be able to see. And then shall you hear as much as your ears may comprehend. For you are blessed above many others, and are called with El-Elyon, but so are but few. But tomorrow at night you shall remain here. And so El-Elyon show you visions of the high things, which El-Elyon would do unto them that dwell upon the earth in the last days. So I slept that night, and another like he commanded me. And we're going to pause right there, y'all. So you can kind of see why a lot of this stuff was removed and labeled the way it was, to kind of keep your eyes off of it. So they kind of have you all up in arms about stuff. Is this the end of the world? Like people coming to be snatched out of here? No, y'all. When you have wisdom, you have more parts of the story. You can understand some of the they call them mysteries of Yahuwah, but it's truth in plain sight if you have eyes to see and ears to hear. This is a beautiful thing, and it'll keep you at complete peace while the whole world is in a complete uproar. The jab is coming. They're making people do this. Food shortages now. I ain't gonna lie. Some of that stuff kind of shake you a little bit when you start hearing it, when you start listening to other people other than y'all. That's what kind of like when the jab and stuff first, I ain't really, but I just knew I wasn't taking it, right? But there are some things where you see the world, and if you're constantly listening to media outlets and some of the people on YouTube and stuff, and they giving you information, at least based on all of what they know, what they've gathered, they're giving you accurate information. Some of it is misinformation, but you don't know quite yet. You're just trying to taking all this raw data and coming up with your own conclusion about stuff. Some people don't come up with their own conclusion. They just take what other people say. They take their conclusion and apply it to their life and begin running around with chickens like their heads cut off, right? I learned to be at peace, you know, and I kind of I'll watch news and some stuff, but I kind of get information and take it. Okay. Yep. That don't line up with what I said. I'm still at complete peace. No matter what goes on around here. Like I'm certain that if a bomb or something was to come attack my neighborhood or blow up the place, my family, we would be safe, right? Either Yahuwah let us know ahead of time, I need y'all to get out of here, because I'm going to take this place. I'm going to completely destroy it, right? But I need y'all to go to a safe places. I got to hide out waiting for you. Going over there, and we're going to rebuild from there. But this place has got to go, right? I tried as long as I could to save it, but they don't want to be saved. So I'm just going to remove you while I destroyed a lot of them, right? So, you know, it's stuff like that, right? So, but when you learn and you hear the words of Yah, even some of the reports that you hear on the news and YouTube channels and all this other stuff, like you'll okay, you can just kind of take it and still go about your day. And you can still just kind of like be at peace, right? And let everybody else do what they doing. Pootie, get down for a second. Hold on, hop up. Look, because you're about to snatch this cord. Hop up. Your leg is tangled in this. Give me 1 second. I'm about to end it anyway. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'll pick it back up in a second. All right, so, but understanding Yahuwah's Torah, his truth, his instruction, it will keep you at perfect peace, right? And you can just go on about your day. Continue living, doing what's right. Go ahead and build, right? If Yahuwah needs to move you, set you somewhere else, he's going to do it. But walk in boldness and peace and confidence and in truth, right? And keep yourself on the frequency or in tune with where Yahuwah is at and what he's doing, and you'll be okay, right? But we all are grown. We're on different levels of growth, and you know, your path is yours. My path is mine. Her path is hers. His path is his. But if you're on the path that Yahuwah set you on for your life, you're going to get to the destination that he desires you to get to. As long as you keep moving, you will keep moving, right? As long as you keep walking, you'll get closer and closer to your destination. If you follow the roadmap and stay with truth, right? Because you can keep walking, but you can kind of veer off the path and get into the wrong direction. That's what you don't want to do. That's why you need to understand the instructions. You need to understand the roadmap, at least every point of the way. Because some instructions you don't have ahead of time, but there are some things you only get when you get to a certain point. We'll address this when we get here, right? Because you don't need to think about this right now. You just need to make it through the woods. There's a lot of lion, tigers, and bears right there. You need to make it through here without getting eaten. Here's how you can stay on the path and not get eaten. And right here, this is the darkest part. So you need to wait. Don't go through here during this time. You just need to pause, camp out right here for the night. You're going to be safe in this spot over here. But you're staying on the path. You just need to follow them directions. You can't, some places you just can't move ahead of time, right? Mm-hmm. Just like a woman can't give birth ahead of time because the baby would die, right? What was meant for good now has turned out to be something evil. The baby has died because it was born before its time, right? There's a process for everything, right? We have to learn how to be okay with the process and walk through the process and not take shortcuts when we get frustrated, right? Enjoy the journey, y'all. Enjoy the journey. Sometimes it's scary, like coming out. I was talking about the Matrix. Waking up out the Matrix is scary. What is this place we're in? What is going on here? Right? It's scary sometimes. It's like, you know, when he got unplugged and, oh my gosh, if y'all ain't gonna watch me, go watch the Matrix again, y'all. It's a really good analogy of those of us who waking up, coming out of church doctrine and stuff and out of all the lies and stuff. Like you learn about the truth and then you learn the truth that you've been worshiping multiple gods. When Yahuwah say worship one, I would liken that to the part with Neil when they was repairing them and stuff, and they had the little he was laying on the table. He had the acupuncture things. I mean, he got up, he began to take these things off. He said, "Oh, I feel a little better, I feel strengthened or whatever. What is this? We can't tell you what the Matrix is, Neo. We have to show you what it is, right? So you unplug And then when you get unplugged, like you can kind of detox. Like the time I walked away from the church for years and Yahuwah detoxed us from the constant stuff that was constantly going in. Okay, now that you're detoxed, now you can see what I wanted to show you, what I've been trying to show you all this time, where you've been plugged in 24/7, where you can't see, right? You got to get unplugged. You got to get some good common sense and nourishment going back to you. So now you can see, okay, he was like, he was on the table, why do my eyes hurt? He said, you've never used them before, right? And so your eyes start hurting when you wake up. People get scared, like, what the crap? And that part when he threw up, I can liken that to the part where when I realized, like, I felt like I was literally sick. When I realized I was doing everything Yahuwah had said not to do, and I was trapped in this. And I thought where I was at, it was really the truth. Like I lived my Christian life like I was in complete truth, and everybody else was wrong. Like, y'all need to come over here, be Christians, be baptized in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Like all of this, right? But when Yahuwah was able to remove me from that, he said, let me show you something. Look, you can't be told what the matrix is. You have to experience it, which I guess it's kind of a good thing that we locked in it. So then when we come out it, we have our own personal experience from part of the matrix we were sucked into. And we can now begin to speak a language to people that was in the same part of the matrix where we were, because we have personal experience. We've been there. I know I was you, right? But I'm telling you, come out of her, my people, right? And when the opportunity arises for you to unplug from the matrix, red pill or the blue pill. Take the blue pill, you'll wake up, and you'll go back into life as normal. Take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and we show you how deep the rabbit hole goes, right? I'm offering you nothing but the truth. You choose, right? I'm offering you nothing but the truth. You choose, right? I decided to take the red pill and stay in Wonderland. Now I'm throwing up. I'm sick. I'm like, what? What was happening? What? I was worshiping Lucifer. What? Although Yahuwah was still talking to us throughout the way, what I was doing, it was going against everything. But thank Yahuwah for his love and his mercy and his graciousness, right? Because he knew in my ignorance, I thought, because being part of the Lord, the ignorant masses is giving our energy to the unruly people in the higher offices, the principalities and powers, right? He knew we thought we was doing what was right. That's why we've run out of time. We had to unplug you from the matrix, right? Because some of us go full in for what we believe, right? And Yahuwah knew I was going full in. Like when I stand for something, I stand for that. And if I believe it to be the truth and it seems principle and of value to me, I am standing with it until you can show me that there is error in my theory. Then I'm gonna keep going here. You need to be able to prove to me something is wrong, right? That's why Morpheus said we don't normally unplug people from the matrix, because it can be a dangerous thing to open somebody's eyes who is not ready to be unplugged. It's dangerous to unplug somebody who's not ready to be unplugged. He said, but we ran out of time and we had to unplug you, right? Yo, that's how I liking it. Yahuwah was like, we were running out of time and we had to unplug you, because I was gonna go full in. I don't know, but I'm glad I was unplugged. So if you ain't never seen The Matrix, go watch The Matrix. You can find it on Amazon Prime. You can find it on... It's not on Netflix. It's not on Netflix. And you still have to pay for... if you haven't purchased it already, you still have to pay for it if you don't already have like CDs of it or whatever. But it's on Amazon Prime. So with that being said, y'all, let's go ahead and do this lesson because my phone about to die. All right, so I hope y'all enjoyed the lesson for today. I know we did not get to this because we is over our time today. I knew that once we got to the second chapter of Ezra today. So some days when the actual scripture readings run long, we just, unless it's the weekend, we're just going to run out of time. And I don't want to hold y'all up. And I know some people have already left because they got to go to work. And, you know, we're into season. You work for the man, do what you're supposed to be doing for the man, right? That's why you're getting paid. Go to work. Now, when you work for yourself, you can adjust your times. You can do, I don't say you can do what you want to do, but you can make your schedule, right? Okay, so the lesson is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. Remember, the first 21 verses is the Nazirite vow, and a man or woman can take the Nazirite vow. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his son, saying, On this wise, ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people. That's it. I think I answered all the questions as we went. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Hezekiah. Sorry for knocking you off the page, laugh out loud. I enjoyed those stories, though. I'm inspired to start my journey this week. Going to get started this morning with some grapes and pineapple. Okay, let us know how it's going. You can do it. Hey, if you fall off, not saying you are, just keep on going. You got another day. Just keep on going. As long as you don't stop, you will get to where you need to get to. Stay on the right track. You can do it. You know, it may be hard at the beginning. You're going to run into some rough patches till you retrain your body to desire and crave only life and reject all things that's not meant for our consumption, right? Till you get to that point, you're going to have some bumps along the road. Then it's going to be smooth sailing because you've trained your body to walk in truth, right? I rejoice to know that my sons and daughters walk in truth. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I'm out of here. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. Got to go. I see y'all back here tomorrow, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.